Hello guys, a very good day to all of you. So a very warm welcome to Fortune's Fun Learning Academy guys. And today we'll be starting our 12th CBSE. So before we start with the subject today, let me give you an outline about the syllabus of accountancy. So your 12th CBSE accountancy syllabus guys, if you see it has got total 100 marks. The accountancy paper is for total 100 marks, wherein 20 marks you will be scoring from your projects that will be given in your school. So balance we are left with 80 marks. So this 80 marks you will be scoring through your board exams. It will be a descriptive paper, which is a combination of theory plus practicals. Okay. Now, depending on what books you follow, guys, there are 2-volume books and there are 3-volume books. The book what we are going to follow will have 3 volumes basically: volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So volume 1, you will come across the first chapter, which is accounting of a not-for-profit organization, which is also called as financial statement of an NPO. This is one single chapter which will comprise of 10 marks. NPO, the coverage from the board exams point of view is 10 marks. Okay. In volume 1, you'll also come across another category of a chapter where you will learn accounting for partnership concern. Now, this entire partnership accounting, what you're going to learn, it is divided into 7 different chapters. And these 7 different chapters, from the board examinations point of view, it will comprise of 30 marks. So can I say volume 1 put together, it is 40 marks out of 80? From exam point of view, total 40 marks will be contributed from volume 1, which is NPO and partnership. Clear or not clear? Total 8 chapters we'll study in volume 1. If I'm clear, please give me a thumbs up. Everybody? Guys, I want everybody to participate. Let's make the session more lively, more energetic. You know, if it is only one side of a conversation, after a point of time, even I'll lose my energy and I'll also sleep. So let's contribute from the both sides. Now, heading towards volume 2, guys. Volume 2 will learn about accounting for companies. And in this volume, we'll come across 3 chapters. 3 chapters, and volume 2 together will comprise of 20 marks from the board exams point of view. So can I say volume 1 and volume 2 put together covers up to 60 marks out of 80? Am I clear? Then we'll be heading towards volume 3, which is called, first chapter is financial statement, then financial statement analysis, then tools of financial statement, ratio analysis, cash flow. Different chapters. All put together will comprise of, again, next 20 marks. If I sum up, can I say it is total 80 marks? Smriti, do you agree with me? Afra, do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the outline of your syllabus. Any doubts in your syllabus? So how are we going to proceed? We'll be proceeding with volume 1, then 2, then 3. Now, the question that will come in your mind is, sir, in my school, they are doing volume 3 first, maybe. In that case, what do we do? At the most, what I can help you is that I have the previous year's recorded class that I can give it to you, which is like full on proper. If you do that, you can very well manage. In case if the order in which your school is doing is little bit different. Okay, so that again option I can give it to you. With whatever I understood so far, I feel that every school they have started with NP only now. I think only one school they have started with partnership. Don't worry, we'll soon reach partnership, because after NPO, my next target is partnership. So I'll soon come and catch your train. Done? Any other doubts you have with regard to syllabus so far? Clear? Any queries, guys, girls? Can we start? Okay. So guys, let's head towards our first chapter of 12th standard, which is financial statement of a not-for-profit organization. What is it called as, guys? It is called as financial statement of a not-for-profit organization. What is a financial statement? Can somebody tell me? We've studied in 11th standard financial statement comprises of trading and P&L account and your balance sheet. These two put together is called as financial statement. But that was from the point of view of a sole proprietorship concern. Financial statement under NPO, will it be same? If you have that question in your mind, let me tell you, no. My dear friends, the financial statement will undergo a change in different chapters. For a sole proprietorship, the financial statement is different. For an NPO, the financial statement is different. For a partnership, again, the financial statement would again go for a change. And for companies, again, it will be different. So in this chapter, we are going to learn what are the financial statements that we are going to prepare. We are not learning the accounting for NPO. Let me be very clear. We are not doing accounting, but we are trying to prepare the financial statement with the given information. So what is the financial statement under NPO? We'll learn in a while. Before that, what is an NPO? So guys, in our country, organization is broadly classified into two types. One is a profit-making organization, and other is a non-profit-making organization. Am I loud and clear with this? There are two types of organizations. One is profit-making organization. Second is non-profit-making organizations. So, sir, who are those organizations which are created with the intention to make profits? Those are sole proprietorship concern. As these are the bodies, the form in which you earn profits. You can earn profit by forming a sole proprietorship business. And in 11th standard, throughout the 11th standard, we have studied how to do the accounting for sole proprietorship business. What is the next form? If I don't want to be a sole proprietor, do I have any other option? Yes. You can start a partnership concern. What is partnership concern? How do we account for partnership concern is the next chapter. What is the third form of the body? LLP, limited liability partnership. It can be as a theoretical coverage in your entrepreneurship or business studies, but in accounting point of view, LLP is not covered for you in 12th. If you don't want to form an LLP, you have the option to form a company. In companies also, you have private company, public company. So what is private, what is public? I'll be discussing in volume. Then HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. This is a concept which you have studied in your business studies. But we don't have accounting for HUF here. Right? So these are the various forms in which you can operate a profit-making entity, a profit-making business. If the intention is to make profit, then these are the organizations. Sir, are these only the 5 organizations? No. There are more to it. There are more to it. But I've just given few examples. So then if I want to start a not-profit organization, then what body should I carry? What form I should have? You can have it in the form of a trust, or you can have it in the form of a society. Cooperative society, cooperative housing society, trust. So those people they form those things with the intention to not make profits. Are we clear with the forms and body? If you want to do anything in our country, you need to have a form and body. Either you have sole proprietorship or LLP or partnership or company, something, or joint venture, joint stock companies, can be anything, but you have to have a form and a body. With this, if you're clear, give me a thumbs up. Online students, if you're comfortable, just say me yes.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Online students comfortable? Yes, boss.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the question is, sir, HUF, do we have any theory in accountancy? No. HUF is a theory. I said you will be learning only in your commerce, that is entrepreneurship or business studies. It should be there. In accountancy, we have no significance of HUF whatsoever. In accounts of 12th standard, you will come across NPO, partnership, and company. That's it. I'm clear with this? Okay. Now the next question is, sir, what is the purpose of a profit-making organization? What a dumb question. Profit-making organization, obviously the purpose will be profit. So the motive here is to earn profit. Straight and clear. Now, what is the motive of a non-profit making organization? Very, very important, guys. So pay attention. The purpose is to serve the society where we live in, or its members. We all can form a society or a trust where we can try to mutually benefit each other. If not general public, one is you try to give benefit to the general public. One is you try to benefit the group of people. The motive is to serve, not make money out of it. So serve whom? Serve either society or members. For what? To further means what? To promote, to develop, the culture of a country. India is known for so many cultural heritage. Yes. To promote that culture, we have so many organizations working. For example, Bharatanatyam. We have so many institutes who's working without any motive of profit, just to retain and promote that culture. Because if that is not done, then India is known for a multiple culture that will be lost over a period of time. So, if any organization wants to promote a particular culture, they'll form a group where they'll all contribute money so that they can do the functions of that NPO. Education. Normally, education is supposed to be meant to be given either free of cost or at a nominal cost. So here in our country, we have two types of education system. One which works with pure profit motive, and one which works with the motive of providing education at nil cost or rather at a cheaper cost. So if I intend to form education, what do you call, organizations where I want to provide free of cost or at least cost, then I would form a trust or a society. Same thing goes with health also. In health also, we have organizations where they work on the profit motive and non-profit motive. Both are there. So if you want to be a non-profit organization, you have to form a trust or a society. You have to register yourself as a trust or society. Only then the existence of an NPO will come into picture. Religious activities. Religious means what? Temple, Gurudwara, church, mosque. If you go to temple has to be maintained, no? You have to give some money to the person, priest who's performing the functions there. Where will the money come from? And wherever money is coming in many organizations where money is coming and going out, accounting is mandatory. So religious activities, to maintain that. Public services, if any other public service you want to do. These are the motives behind forming a not-for-profit organization. Am I sounding clear with this, guys? Everybody, thumbs up? Okay. Now, what are the examples of a profit-making organization? These are the top-notch companies of the country: Wipro, Tata, Reliance, Birla. The motive is profit. So all of you are familiar with this. Anybody who does not know Tata, Birla, Ambani, everybody is familiar. Who wants to construct house like Antila? Who doesn't know Antila? Antila means not Antila. Antila is a structure where Mr. Ambani lives there. Big bungalow. Super. Now, examples for a not-for-profit making organization: schools, sports. I want to form an organization where I give sports training at nil cost, at a lower cost. I would not form a partnership concern. I would form a trust or a society. Temples, public services, charitable hospitals, ICAI, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, the Institute of Company Secretaryship of India. All these are not profit-making organizations. The degree which was provided to me by ICAI, that institute is a NPO. There's a motive to promote education. Are you able to get the pulse of it, guys? Now, the question that comes is, sir, for a profit-making organization, what are the sources of funds? Can I say, if I start a partnership concern or a company or a sole proprietorship business, the first thing where the money will come in from is capital? Who will contribute capital? Who will contribute capital? Obviously, business owner will contribute. If the money contributed by the owner is not sufficient, what will I do? Borrow money from where? Financial institution, banks, third parties. So I'll borrow funds. Finally, whatever profits I earn, some profits I'll not distribute. No, why will I not distribute? Because I'll keep it as a reserve so that I can use that money for the development of the business. We call it as reserves and surplus. We studied in your entire 11th standard. So these are the three sources of funds for profit organization. Now the question is, sir, for NPO, what is the source of fund? Membership fee. Let's suppose all of us together are forming an entity. You're all the members. All of you will contribute. Let's say we organized this, we have set up this organization with the motive to promote education. So if you want to continue to take the service of these organizations, you have to pay annual membership fees, without which you cannot take the services of this organization. So the source of fund, because even the organization has to run, no? Because organization has the expenditure. So if the organization is only giving service, where is the money coming from for giving the service? Get my point. So the first and foremost thing is membership fee. What the members contribute. Members means what? Those are the people, those who form that organization. Second is entrance fee. For certain, these organization organizes certain events, Jinev. In that, we charge entrance fee. So that is again a source of fund. Nikhil, then we have subscription. What is subscription? Have you heard this? Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Hotstar. So we have to pay subscription there. Now, don't think subscription from your point of view. Think subscription from Netflix point of view. For them, what is it? Inflow of money, source of fund. Subscription can be monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or annual also. Subscription there is profit. Here it is not profit. They use that term here, but this is non-profit. Just because here subscription is non-profit, that doesn't mean Netflix is non-profit. It is profit. Donation. You and I can contribute donation. Third party can contribute donation. Grant. It's kind of a donation which comes from government bodies, government institutes. Legacy. We'll discuss what is legacy. Borrowings and surplus from the operation. Even NPO does business, guys. They earn extra surplus money, but we don't call that as profit because the motive is not profit here. So extra money, what you have over and above expenditure is called as surplus. Surplus means what? Something which have an excess. So money which is excess, the money which is there would mean excess of expenditure is surplus. We don't call it as profit. And just because this is an NPO, it doesn't mean that these people will not do business. They'll do business because with that fund, they'll reinvest in the business so that they can do the service for which they have formed the organization. Am I clear or not? Guys, am I making sense? Am I going too fast? Please tell me. Comfortable speed? Am I pronouncing it too fast? This speed is fine, all of you. Guys, thumbs up. Very good. Now, guys, profit-making organization, obviously the motive is to earn profit. So whatever the profit is there in the business, what do they do with that? They distribute that to the owners. Obviously, no. Yes or no, Jinev? Whatever profits, let's say you're starting your own business, whatever profits will be there, you will take it, owners will distribute. But the profit or the excess money which is there in the NPO, can all the members take that money and go at the end of the year? No. If you take that, then you're not an NPO. So what do you do with that? The surplus is not distributed to the members. It is retained in the business and will be reinvested for the purpose of development of the NPO, for furtherance of the service, for the improvement of the service. So mark the word here, guys. It is not profit. Here it is surplus. Because this is a not-for-profit organization, so we don't have any word called profit. This is the surplus here. What is the surplus? Income minus expenditure is surplus. Here, income minus expenditure is profit. You have to be very clear. So whenever you prepare income and expenditure account, you will not write the word surplus. You will write, so you will not write the word profit or loss. Instead, you will write as surplus or deficit. Profit or loss. Surplus or deficit. Loss, deficit. Profit, surplus. Am I clear with this? Anybody is getting bored here? I have an idea. We can try that. If anybody is feeling sleepy, if anybody is getting bored, best way is get 10 spicy chilies, green chilies. Keep it with you. Whenever you feel sleepy, take one bite. I guarantee you sleep after that. I bet you sleep after that. I've tried. If I want to do night study and I'm literally tired, no, I take a bite. Half an hour minimum, no sleep. So anybody is feeling sleepy, if you don't want to bring the chilies, I'll arrange. Don't worry. How many of you want chilies? Nishantri, man, we can make a note. Anybody wants chilies here? Online students, this goes well for all of you also. Smriti, you can also have. Smriti says, I want chili. My God. Smriti, really? Anybody here chilies? Tamana, no chilies? Jine, chilies? I'll get one bowl. Okay, let's proceed, guys. Now, for a profit-making organizations, guys, the accounting procedures, the accounting records are complicated because your motive is to earn profit, no? And on your profit, government collects What? Tax. So government wants to check whether you derive the right profit or not. To check that, will the governments not come and want to check your records? Because you can cheat also, no? You can also calculate the wrong profit or less profit in order to remit less tax. So government says that do one thing. I'll give a list of documents. You have to maintain everything like that pakka. I'll give you accounting rules and regulations. You have to follow everything properly. If you don't follow, I'll penalize you. That's why we have what? We identify a business financial transaction, measure in terms of money, then we record in journal, then we transfer to ledger, then we transfer to trial balance, and from there we prepare trading profit and loss account and balance sheet. You have to maintain evidences, vouchers, everything. It's very complicated. For a profit-making organizations, accounting is complicated and records are hefty. You have to maintain heavy records. So okay, it makes sense that a profit-making organization has to maintain all these things. But why NPO? NPO is telling that, boss, my motive is not to make profit. Then why are you compelling me to maintain records? NPO started crying very bad. Government said that, my dear friend, I agree that your motive is not to make money, but in your business also money is coming in, no? In your business also money is going out, no? You also have income, you also have expense, no? How do I know that under a trust you're doing a proper trust related activities? What if you're fraud? What if you're doing cheating? So at least give me not too much of information, but little bit information, limited records, limited rules and regulations you follow, so that I'll be convinced that okay, you're doing a not-for-profit organization or a non-profit activity. For that, government said that NPO for you alone, ungalku mattum, I'll give simplified accounting procedures and limited records. Fair enough. Because every NPO, every temple, every organization has got income and expenditure. In temple also you have money coming in. India gold varo, cell phone varo, gold pogala, போடும் போது cell phone வந்துருச்சு. எடுக்க முடியுமா திருப்பி? சத்தியமா முடியாது. iPhone போச்சு. 1,20,000 rupees. புது iPhone வாங்கிக்கலாம். So when money is coming in and going out, you have to maintain certain records. Now, the thing is that for a profit-making organization, you have to prepare trading account followed by P&L and balance sheet. This we called as financial statement. Yes, but here the story is slightly different. Here it is no more trading P&L. Here it is a receipts and payment account, income and expenditure account, and balance sheet. So these are the three statements which you will prepare. These three put together is called as financial statement. Am I clear or not clear? Please tell me. If clear, give me a thumbs up. All of you. Online students, clear, not clear?
Clear, sir.
So in this entire chapter, we'll understand how to prepare the receipts and payment account, how to prepare income and expenditure account, and balance sheet you already know because you're mastered in 11th standard. Am I right? Dinesh says, sir, 11th balance sheet. Abdina? If a balance sheet தெரியும், at least you know what is asset, what is liability. That much you know. Other than that, I'll take care. Don't worry. Now the challenge is to understand what is receipts and payment account, what is income expenditure, and what is balance sheet. So today I'll be focusing on receipts and payment account. Components of financial statements of an NPO. First one is receipts and payment accounts. It is a summary of all receipts and payment from cash and bank account. What is the word, guys? It is a summary of all receipt and all payments from cash account and bank account. So what is the source of preparing your receipts and payment account? What is the source of preparing your receipts and payment account? Cash account and bank account. How do I prepare my receipts and payment account? I can prepare my receipts and payment account only if I have my cash account and bank account. Anybody who says that I still don't know what is cash account and bank account, you're invited to my 11th standard class, which I'll start in July month. What is cash account? Tell me, guys, what is cash account? பதில் சொல்லி இவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்படுறீங்க? यार वापस नहीं है. हाँ चलो इधर. Correct. So cash account means whatever cash is coming inside the business or whatever money is going out of the business on day-to-day basis, transaction wise, mark my word, it is transaction wise will be recorded. Cash account, this is like a ledger. Debit and credit. Debit side, what will you record? All the cash which is coming in. We have two approach, guys, modern approach and traditional approach. Traditional approach is also called as golden rule. Modern approach is called as American approach or accounting equation approach. So as per golden rule, cash is a real account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. As per modern approach, all the accounting transactions is classified broadly into 5 categories. In my class, I tell it is 4. First category is asset. Second is liability capital. Third is revenue. Fourth is expenditure. So cash is asset. To increase asset, what will I do? To increase asset, if money is coming in, my cash balance will increase now. To increase my asset, I will debit. To decrease my asset, if I spend money, cash will reduce. I have to give a credit. So all those people, those who are still not updated with the golden rule and modern approach, I have 2 videos or rather 3 videos on my YouTube, and I have shared that link also in the group. You can watch that. There are certain chapters in 11th standard. I have put that message also in the group that there are certain chapters in 11th which will reflect in 12th, without which you will not be able to do it. You have to be sure of that chapters. Though I'll be doing a recap of it. Recap should help you, but if it is not helping me, you will inform me that, sir, this is not helping me. I can accordingly, I'll plan something else for you. Without those chapters, you cannot survive in this 12th. Am I clear with this, all of you? Okay. So in your cash account, you will record all the transaction which money comes in on the debit side. Guys, I repeat, it is transaction wise. What is a transaction? An event take place. For each and every event, you will record it. For example, money is coming in. Mr. X is paying a subscription money of 100 rupees. For X separately, I'll record it. If Y is paying separately, Y again 100. Z is paying separately, again 100. For every single transaction, we record it. So like that, you prepare this. But tell me, if you're a member of the organization, if I give you this cash account and bank account, which runs for thousands of pages, will it make any sense to you? What will you understand from that? In cash, like in debit side, money will be coming from hundreds of sources. And that 100 sources will have thousands of transactions. What sense can you make out of that cash and bank account? Will it make sense, you tell me? If I give you a 1000-page book with cash and bank ledger in it, will it make any sense to you? Will it help you? Can you make some analysis? Nothing. So they said that you will summarize whatever there's in cash and bank. For example, this is belonging to one category called subscription. Here, let's say you've paid rent. You'll summarize all the rent together. You'll summarize. And then you'll prepare a receipts and payment account, which is exact the same format or which is as that of cash account and bank account. The heading is receipt here. This is payment. So total money that is come in inside the organizations during the year, totally subscription is 300 rupees. See here I have transaction wise 100, 100, 100. Here I have combined and written. Now can I say this will run for 2 pages now? If I give a 2-page document to you, and if I say from subscription I received 300 rupees, from legacy I've got 1000 rupees, from donation I got 500 rupees, now will it make some sense to you? Now it is a categorized activity where from different sources, how much money is coming, you're able to make some analysis. Tell me guys, now receipts and payment is a meaningful document or not? Just compare cash and receipt and payment. You will throw this away and you will enjoy this only. So we have to learn how to prepare the receipts and payment account. So what is receipts and payment account? Sir, it is a summary of all the receipts. All the receipts means category wise, subscription category, donation category, grant category. You will categorize and then you will record in one place. Same way you will do that for payment also. So this information, now sometimes subscription will come from cash. Somebody will pay the subscription in cash. Somebody will pay Krishna that in bank also. So I'll have a separate bank ledger. So in that again 100 rupees is coming, subscription. So I'll make total subscription of 400. So I need total subscription. Whether it is come in my cash account or bank account, doesn't matter. Totally it will come in my receipts and payment account. Are you clear with this now? Are we clear with the first point? If it is clear, thumbs up. Online students, clear, not clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
Anybody's got any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? Can I proceed forward? Guys, everybody, now. Basis of preparing. What is the basis of preparing your receipts and payment account? We prepare on cash basis. In 11th standard, we studied in chapter number 4, accrual basis of accounting and cash basis of accounting. What is cash basis? You can remove and talk. Sorry? Income is recorded in the books of accounts the moment cash is received, or only when the cash is received that you record. You'll record the expenditure only when the cash is paid. Cash basis means if money comes in, you'll record. If money goes out, only then you'll record. Accrual means the moment the income is earned, you record it. Whether the money received or not received is not bothered. How is income earned? At which point of time income is earned, I'll discuss probably in some time or in next class. Income earned. The moment the income is earned, you have to record your income. And the moment the expense is incurred, I did not use the word paid. The moment the expense is incurred, you will have to record the expenditure, irrespective of whether you paid or not. Payment is not a condition here. Incurring is a condition. So when is expense incurred? Which point of time? When is income earned? Which point of time? That I'll be discussing in some time. So receipts and payment account, guys, by the name itself, it is what money coming in and going out. So obviously it has to be on cash basis. Any doubts in this? In that case, will I record depreciation? Will I record depreciation in my receipts and payment account? Yes, if you interact, if you participate, you will not feel sleepy. If you're not interacting, you'll slowly go and sleep. Keep interacting. That's why I keep asking questions. You need to participate. Right? Okay. So can I record depreciation? All of you know what is depreciation. We have done whole chapter in 11 for depreciation. Depreciation, when I record depreciation as expenditure, do I pay money out? Do I pay the payment? Do I make the payment at the time of depreciation? No. So it's a non-cash expenditure which has got no place in receipts and payment account. So which means non-cash item will not be recorded. It will not find place in receipts and payment account. So non-cash expenses like depreciation will not be accounted. Am I clear or not clear? The question will give you depreciation to confuse you, and you will record it in the payment side. But where are we making the payment for depreciation, my dear friends? Where? So you will ignore it. Now, for which all periods do we record the receipts and payment? It is recorded. It records all receipts and payment irrespective of whether it belongs to previous year, current year, or next year. So I've got totally 1 lakh rupees. Out of this 1 lakh rupees, 10,000 is coming from the previous year, which means I gave service worth 10,000 the previous year, but that student did not pay the money that time. He paid me the money now. For the services which I gave in the previous year, the payment is happening in the current year. Apart from that, current year I received another 85,000 rupees. I gave the service worth 85,000. I received the money worth 85,000 the current year. And some student like my teaching so much that for the next year is booked me in advance by paying another 5,000 next year. Now the question is, how much money have you received in your cash and bank account? In total, how much money is there in your pocket? Pocket means cash and bank account. But in this 1 lakh, 10,000 is belonging to previous year, 5,000 is belonging to next year. So if I have to record some amount in my receipts and payment account, please tell me what amount will I record? But in this 1 lakh previous year and next year is there, no? Can I remove that? Receipts and payment means galla patila pana evlo vanduchu adu mattum da count pannum moola vandu jaasti use panna kooda. Receipts and payment account, the purpose is to record all the money that is received during the year, and here 1 lakh is totally received in the current year. So forget the difference that whether the money is belonging to the previous year or current year or next year, doesn't matter. This year how much money you received, you focus only on that. When you are recording receipts and payment account, you are a pakka cashier who's only concerned with the money what is received. He's not concerned with the rules of debit and credit. He's not bothered about accrual concept. He's only concerned with cash, cash, cash. Clear, not clear? So we'll record all the receipts and payment irrespective of whether it is belonging to the previous year, current year, or the next year. Next year is also called as subsequent year. When do we prepare this receipts and payment account? Daily basis? No. Daily basis, you prepare cash account and bank account. Receipts and payment account is a summary which you prepare at the end of the year. End of the year. So it is prepared at the end of the accounting year. Okay or not okay? Please tell me. Everybody, okay? Thumbs up. Very good. So now, guys, receipts and payment account. I'll do one thing. Can we do a practical part and then come back a little bit of theory? It's become too much of theory now. I have to explain you the concept of what is revenue receipt and capital receipt. So this understanding is not required for at least receipts and payment account. So can we do some sums? And before we step into sums, can we take a 5 minutes break? Yes, please take a break of 5 minutes and then we'll continue the practical question based on receipts and payment account. Guys, welcome back from the break. So this is the material which we're going to follow. And whatever I've discussed so far, guys, it is there in this. So I will give this segment as homework for all of you. I want all of you to go through these theory points because whatever I've discussed is there in this paragraph. So from theory point of view, this is very important. So please do not skip any theory part. So whenever I have tests, I will also include theories also. Those which are not even book back questions, still I'll ask. So all the theory questions has to be in fingertips. So let's head towards the practical question, guys. This is receipts and payment account, and this is the format. Receipts and payment account for the year ended. Now, what happens is that whenever I ask people to write test, they write R&P account for the year ended. What do you mean by R&P account? Not allowed. You have to write the full form. Short forms not allowed. So receipts and payment account for the year ended. And sometimes I've seen people, they don't write for the year ended. They only write receipts and payment account. Not acceptable. Marks will be deducted. It is receipts and payment account for the year ended 31st March, whatever it is, for the year. Guys, do you know what is the difference between as on and for the year? For the year means this statement is for the entire year. When I say subscription, this is the total subscription of the entire year. It is for the year. Whereas balance sheet cannot be for the entire year. It can be only as on a particular date. So this is very important. Second important thing, debit and credit, you cannot forget to miss it. It is mandatory. This column name is receipt. Rupees, please don't forget. Very important. Payment, rupees. It's a replica of cash account. So debit what comes in, credit what goes out. In means receipt, out means payment. Money goes out when you make the payment. Right? So this is the format. And I said you this is a replica of which account? Cash and bank account. Cash account, what is the starting point? Can I say balance brought down, opening balance? You also have that. It is a summary of what? Cash account and bank account. So obviously I should have opening cash balance and opening bank balance. Opening cash balance and opening bank balance. So two balance brought down, opening balance of cash in hand and cash at bank. Cash in hand means the money which you have in hand. Cash at bank means the money, your money which is there with the bank. And then followed by different kinds of receipts. I'll be discussing that one by one when we do the practical questions. I'll not explain everything here. I'll discuss when we do the practical questions. And this is the payment side. Now tell me one thing, guys. Cash will have what balance? Cash will have debit balance. Debit balance means what? Opening balance will always come on debit side. Credit balance means what? Opening balance will always come on credit side. So cash, can it have debit and credit balance both? Cash will have only debit balance. Cash credit balance means what? Can you have cash as credit balance? Having cash as credit balance means you spent money more than what you had. Is it possible? In your pocket there's 100 rupees. Can you spend 120 rupees? If you say that you have 100 rupees and if you spend 120 rupees, the difference 20 has got a credit balance. Is it possible in cash account? So cash will have only debit balance and you can spend money only to the extent of what you have it in your pocket. But bank, I have 100 rupees in bank. Can I spend 120 rupees? Yes, provided bank has given that excess 20 rupees in form of an overdraft, as a loan, as a credit. So only in case of a bank, And that too, if your account is a OD account, current account plus OD account. What is current account? What is OD account? I'll discuss, though I've discussed already in 11, but still I'll discuss. Current account and OD account combination together, if it is there, that can have credit balance also. So bank alone, guys, can have opening balance on the credit side, provided it is a bank overdraft. Bank overdraft is a facility where the bank has given you money. So we have to pay that money back. Hence, it is a liability. Liability will have what balance? Credit balance. All those people those are still not clear with the modern approach, you have to see those 3 videos which I've shared with you. Very, very important. Because all those who have done 11th with me, you'll be having your debit balance, credit balance, everything in fingertips, because 100 times you've discussed in class, not 1 or 2 times. 100 times I've asked you. So you'll be clear. But all those who have joined for the first time, you need to get into that mode, guys. So watch those 3 videos, very, very important. Am I clear with this? Okay. If account has opening balance, will it have closing balance or not? So cash account, that is cash balance, will always have credit side. Closing balance will come always on the credit side. If closing comes on credit side, where will the opening come? To balance brought down. So we say cash account is debit balance. Why? Because carry down is coming on credit side and brought down will come on the opposite side. That is why whenever the opening balance is coming on debit side, it becomes a debit balance. So here, if you see closing balance is either cash can have closing balance and bank can have closing balance with a debit balance. Also, overdraft, you can have closing balance. So overdraft is coming on which side? Left side. And brought down is coming on the credit side. So this is a liability. Clear, not clear? Debit balance means having opening balance on the debit side. Credit balance means having opening balance on the credit side. If opening balance is coming on debit side, closing will come in credit. So I always tell people that whenever I ask you balance, what balance it is, answer from the point of view of opening, not from the closing point of view. Whenever I ask you if this account is having a debit balance or credit balance, you have to think and answer from whose point of view? Opening balance point of view, balance brought down point of view. Clear, not clear? Right? So this is how we'll get the closing balance. So can we do a practical question, guys? Please take page number 1.5. 1.5, guys, illustration 1. It says that from the following particulars of Silver Charitable Society, this is the form in which a NPO works. They're asking you to prepare receipts and payment account for the year ended 31st March 2019. So what is the financial year, guys? Can you tell me the financial year? 2018-2019 is the financial year. Yes or no? Everybody agree with me? CS Academy, do you agree with me? Yes? Guys, concentration here, no talking between yourself. Now, guys, particulars they are given. Now, tell me, guys, what is the basis of preparing the receipts and payment account? What is the source of information? From where do you get the information to prepare the receipts and payment account? Cash account and bank account. So this information which is given to you, it's coming from cash and bank account. You might say that, sir, this is not even looking like a cash account. The presentation has changed, but the information is coming from there only. So opening balance of cash in and cash in bank, everything is given. So first thing what we'll do is we'll open an account. Guys, this has to be a fair work, so please do it neatly. So what will be the first thing? It is Silver Charitable Society. So first heading will be, guys, in the books of Silver Charitable Society. Heading is very important. And what are we trying to prepare? RECIPTS, receipts and payments account for the year ended 31st March 2019. Without forgetting record debit, record credit. RECIPTS rupees inner column, rupees outer column. Payments, rupees inner column, rupees outer column. Okay, all done with the formats. This is the format. Can I start, guys? It says that opening cash in hand and cash at bank. So they have not mentioned anything whether this is debit balance or credit balance. What should I assume? If nothing is mentioned, guys, it is always debit balance. So debit balance means opening will come back, debit side or credit side. Debit balance means opening will come on debit side. So 2. Now, guys, when you write balance brought down, don't use the word BAL. No short form. Balance brought down. Cash, bank. Record these two in the inner column. Guys, if you want to total something, and if you want to write the total in the outer column, the totaling has to be done in the inner column. So you'll always prepare 2 columns. Inner column rupees, outer column rupees. So cash, what is the cash value? 40,000 is cash in hand. 2,10,000 is cash at bank. So in inner column, you write 40,000. Outer, again, you'll write 2,10,000 in the inner column. 2,10,000. If I total this, what will be? 2,50,000 total in the outer column. Any difficulty so far? Comfortable, Arman? Okay. Next. It says that subscription received. Received. Received means what? Receipt of payment. Received means receipt, money coming in. I'm only bothered about the money received. Now they're given some extra information to confuse you. What is extra information? Total money that received is 3,05,000. This includes 15,000 for 17-18, which is previous year. Am I bothered about this information? Should I give a damn about this information? Forget it. Total money received, bus, itna hi, 3,05,000. That's all. So 2, subscription received. How much? 3,05,000. That's all. How much money I received, that is what is matter to me. Next is, guys, donation for building. Now the question that will come into mind is, sir, are we giving donation or are we receiving donation? Because donation received and payment, nothing is mentioned here. So what will you assume? First thing is that this is an NPO. NPO works majorly with donation. If nothing is mentioned, we always assume that we have received it. The logic is we are preparing NPO. NPO's main source is donation. One of the main source. If nothing is mentioned, donation is received. Towards what? Building. Donation for building, whether received or not, nothing is mentioned, means received. How much? 5 lakh rupees. So 2, donation. Guys, you're not allowed to use the calculator, correct? So when you write the figures, you leave some space and write so that you can do the totaling there. I see sometimes people write in a very congested way here. Again, they rewrite somewhere in the rough column and do the totaling. Same information you write twice. It's a waste of time. So leave sufficient space in that column itself so that you can do the manual totaling and don't repeat it. Am I making sense to all of you? Mansi, am I making sense? Okay. Postage and stationery. I'm receiving money or paying money? Postage and stationery means obviously I'll spend money. No? So it's a payment. So I'll record on the payment side. So buy postage and stationery. What is the total amount? 25,000 rupees. Online students comfortable? Anybody who's not able to follow me? Somesh, Niti, Sibi,
Comfortable, sir.
Priyanka, Darnishwar, Chelna, Arjun, Afra, comfortable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you have any hiccups, guys, without any hesitation, please call my name and inform me. Guys, and just because I cannot see you, please don't try to play around. Please be genuine and, I hope that all of you are working on properly. I can see Smriti working on properly, but I'm not able to see other students. So please keep your video on so that I can interact with you guys. So please keep your video on. Next is insurance premium, 28,000. I don't know whether I received or paid. Tell me something. Insurance premium, who will receive? Insurance company. Am I an insurance company? So receipt, no ways. So the next option is payment. Now here to confuse you, they're telling that this 28,000 what you paid. No, you paid 4,000 in advance. That's the next year. You paid this year itself. They're trying to confuse me. Can I get confused? I can just move around. I'll just post the entire 28,000. I'll not give a damn about it. So buy insurance premium. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? चल बाजू हवान दे. Like that. 30, how much it is? 28,000. So buy insurance premium, 28,000. Purchase of investment. When I purchase, money will come in, no? Yes. When I purchase, money will come in. When I purchase, money will come in, Rakshita. Correct? She's telling, what did sir ask? When I purchase, money comes in or goes out? Money goes out means payment. 31,000. Buy. Just write buy investment. It is 31,000, right? 31,000. Super, fantastic. Next, life membership fee. Paid or received, no information. So what can I assume?
Paid.
Life membership fee. Paid or received? What is the meaning of life membership fee? Members are giving the money. Members means whose members? NPO's members. So NPO's members are giving money to whom? So money coming in or going out? Understand the meaning, you'll get the answer automatically. Life membership fee. Life membership fee. Forget life. Let's talk about membership fee. Membership fee means what? A member is paying the fee. Who is the member here? The person who has formed the organization. There'll be multiple people. Let's say all of us put together. They are all members of this organization. So you're paying the fees. So for the organization, guys, accounting entity concept, 11th standard. Owner is different from business. Members are different from organizations. So if members are paying money, to whom are they paying? NPO. For NPO, money is coming in or going out? Coming in. Now, what is life? Life membership fee means this fee will be paid only once during the entire life of that member. If I become a member of any organization, if I pay a life membership fee, means that fee will never get repeated as long as that organization is alive. That's why it is called as life membership fee. It is a one-time fee. So it is a receipt for the organization. Clear, not clear? So 2 life membership fee. Online students, clear, not clear?
Yes, sir.
Guys, I will use the short form in the class. MEMB, FE, like whatever it is. I have that privilege, not you. Because I have short space to show a lot of things on the whiteboard. I might have to use short form. You will not use it. If I see any short forms in your test, cut it. The life membership fee, guys, what is the amount? 30,000. Chelna, you able to follow Chelna?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, guys, next one. Salary is paid. Paid means receipt. Consideration, guys, very important. I'll swiftly make you fool. You'll never know. They'll just, oh shit, what did I say? Paid, payment. Now, again, see there, trying to confuse me. Do I look like a fool to him? He says that including 5,000. You include whatever you want to include, man. I am bothered about what payment is made, 35,000. I'll only focus on 35,000. So, 2 salary paid. Am I right? Parvala. By salary paid. 45,000. 30? 35. Okay. Now coming back. Tournament expenses. So money will come in. Expense means money goes out. How much? 15,000. So 2 tournament expenses. Attentive amount 15,000 rupees. Locker rent. receipt of payment. Why will NPO take locker? What will NPO keep in that locker? Think. So locker is a facility given by whom? NPO to whom? Members. You are living in an apartment, 300 apartments. That apartment has got a, what do you call it? Association. Apartments have association, no? Where there are 300, 400 apartments, they have associations. So in that associations, what will happen is, for the members, so that association is created for the benefit of the members. So that you can enjoy the service of the apartment. It can be swimming pool, it can be clubhouse, it can be anything. Right? So if you go to swimming pool, you have to keep your clothes or expensive items near the swimming pool. So where will you keep your expensive items? So for the members, there'll be a separate locker facility arranged by that association. Association is an NPO. Association will not do free of cost, no? They'll not do it free of cost. So they'll charge some money from you. So who is paying the money here? Locker rent is paid by member to the organization. So it is receipt for the organization. Am I clear with this? If the question says that the locker rent is paid, only then you'll take it to payment. If nothing is mentioned, we receive it. So buy locker rent. To locker rent. How much? 30? 34,000. Very good. Closing balance, guys. Cash in hand. So two balance carried down. Sorry. Buy balance carried down. Buy balance carried down of what? Cash in hand. What is the value? 8,000. Anything else, guys? Have we covered all the points? Question is that, can we go to the next question? Can we go to the next question? Sir, who will balance this, sir? Total and see, no? Debit, credit, match out. That is a rule of accounting. Debit and credit is matching, then you go to the next sum, sir. First take it is matching or not matching. Tell me, guys, debit, credit, matching, not matching, totally. Not matching. Oh my God. Which side is more? Debit is more. Debit means receipt is more. Payment is less. So what will be the balance carried out? Is a surplus. Deficit. Surplus deficit will come only in income and expenditure account. This is receipt and payment account. So what is the closing balance? What does this mean? Let's understand. This means that during the year when the NPO started its operation, it started with 2,50,000 rupees. Now 40,000 cash in hand, 210 in bank. It had 250. As the year progressed, the organization further collected so much money. So what is the total money throughout the year with me? What is total? Please total and tell me. 11 lakh? 11,19,000 rupees was the total money which was there in the organization throughout the year. But this money was not retained as it is because money was spent. Out of 11,19,000, you spent money in so many areas. You spent so much money here. So from 11,19,000, if I minus this, what will I get? Please minus and tell me. From 11,19,000, if I minus this, what is the balance you'll get? 9 lakh? 9,77,000. You need to say that 9,77,000 should be the balance money with you. It can be either in cash or it can be in bank. I'm telling totally. 9,77,000 is what total money? It should be there. Oh, you're doing bank. No, I'm telling total how much money. That is 11,19,000 minus this. How much? 9,85,000. So guys, 11,19,000 is total money we had. We spent some X money. So balance money that should be with the organization 985. In that 985, they are telling that 8,000 only is cash in hand. Then where is the balance money? It is in the bank. So what is the balance amount? 9,77,000 rupees, which is cash at bank. You can write this in inner column also, 8,000 and 9,77,000. 9,77,000 and total is 9,85,000. Am I clear with this? Is it making sense? Your surplus and deficit will come only in the income and expenditure account. This account is only basically to understand how much money I had when I started the operations, and during the process how much money I received, how much money I paid. After adjusting all that, finally how much money I am left with. That's all this will give you, because this is a replica of cash in bank account. Cash in bank account, what information will give you? How much money I had, how much received, how much paid, and the balance. Same thing is here. Any difficulty in receipts and payment account? Easy. So where your life will get screwed, income and expenditure. But as long as I'm here, don't worry. Can we go to the next one, guys? Can we go to the next one? Comfortable, all of you so far? Anybody's got any doubts? Comfortable? Okay. Illustration 2. Illustration 2 I'll do along with you. Illustration 3 I'll ask you to do it in class as homework. In class. Then how can it be homework? That's what Shrikant is asking. My mistake, classwork. Correct, Shrikant? From the following information, prepare receipts and payment account of Navratna Recreation Club. Online students comfortable? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Afra,
No, sir.
Arjun, Chelna, Dharnish, Priyanka, Sibi, Smriti, Somesh, comfortable all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. So let's proceed towards illustration 2, guys. It says that from the following information, prepare receipts and payment account of Navratna Recreation Club for the year ended 31st March 2021. So which financial year I'm into? 2021. Okay. Opening balance is given, cash in hand, cash at bank, and everything is given. So let's create the format again, guys. Please create the format again. Please don't be lazy to write the formats. The more you practice, the more easy you'll get the hold of it. This is Navratna Recreation Club. Heading is important. Navratna. Club. Very good. Next is, we are asked to prepare the receipts and payment account for the year ended 31st March 2021. So receipts and payment account for the year ended 31/3/21. Debit, credit. Receipt, rupees inner column, rupees outer column. Payment, rupees inner column, rupees outer column. Guys, once you're done with the format, please give me a heads up. All of us together will go. Nobody will go ahead, nobody will be behind. We'll go together. Online students done with the formatting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Others?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, guys, it says that opening balance, cash in and cash in bank, if nothing is mentioned, it is debit balance. So two balance brought down. So two balance brought down. Cash in hand, cash in bank. How many of you have the habit of using the calculator? Anybody's got used to calculator in 11th? All of you do mental calculation. Nobody's become mental. No? I know. I know. Cash in, cash at bank. In bank is not the right word. Cash at bank. Cash in hand, cash at bank. That's what you asked. I wrote in. Sorry. English, thoda kacha pakka hai. Actually, the right word is cash at bank. So inner column 20 and 50,000, 20,000 and 50,000. Total is 70,000. Yes, boss. Somebody called me. You mean to say outer column directly? You can write not a problem. Hello. Next, it says that guys, subscription received. Received means payment side have to record. Okay. Now they're telling that 7,000, 2019, 20, 121, 600, 2021. This is getting confused. What to do? What are they trying to tell? See, this information is for 31st March 21, 2021. Then why 19, 20, 21, 22 is coming into picture? So this means that 7,000 is received in the financial year 2021, but it pertains to 1920. It belongs to 1920 income, but money is received in current year. 121,600 is received in 2021 and belongs to 2021. That's why it is 2021 and 2021. 5,200 is received for 21, 22. 21, 22 I'll be doing my services, but money is received in advance in 2021. So you have to relate the heading. You have to relate this heading and this together. So which means in short, these three amount is received in the current year. So in receipts and payment account, I'm least bothered whether the money is belonging to previous year or next year. Everything I'll record. So 2 subscription received total and record everything. Simple. So 2 subscription received 7,000 plus 121,600 plus 5,200. How much is it? Bookla baat solriya. Total paniya. Sure. 1. நமக்கு mental calculation வராது. Calculator பழகி மூளை போயிடுச்சு. So I'm dependent on all of you. Okay. Donation for building paid, no? Nothing is mentioned. Donation is received. So by donation. To donation. Online students, I want all of you to participate. Since you're not here, please don't think that you'll enjoy sitting at home. Please participate. I want everybody to answer. So to donation, 70,000 rupees. Okay, guys, first class. Next is donation for match, paid or received. Which means this club is organizing some match, and for that match, we didn't have sufficient funds, so we got donation. So it's a receipt. So to donation. So to donation, you can write for building here to differentiate. To donation for match. I'll try to improve my handwriting. Please bear with me. I'm practicing it on daily basis. Please excuse me for today. How much is it? 14,000. Okay. Come on. Yes. I'll improve my handwriting. Yes. Okay. Match expenses is received. Same. So by match expense.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, Kana.
So can we do a common heading for donation and then mention building and match?
Yes, of course you can do that.
Okay.
Oh yes. I am allowing you to do this, but please check with your respective teachers. For board exams point of view, I say it's a green signal.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but you have to ask your God. So by match expenses, 6,000. Okay. Salaries received. Nothing is mentioned. Salaries is mentioned. Nothing is mentioned is paid. So by salaries. How much? 70. Okay. Rent paid. So no problem. So by rent paid. What is the amount? 4,800. Okay. Book purchased. Payment. Sorry. Electricity expenses. Oh. Electricity expenses. In the CS Academy, divide and rule. Electricity expenses amount 7,600. And the pull is serious. Sir? Okay. Next, books purchased. Books purchased means money is coming in. Going out. Books purchased. How much? 20,000 rupees. Now, 10% investment purchased. Receipt of payment. So I've totally invested 30,000 rupees in the investment. What is this 10% give? So my time pass. 10% investment is what? I have invested my money in such a place which will give me a return of 10%. That's what it means. But I'm not bothered about that. So by investment, 30,000 rupees. Okay. Oh wow. Next line they've given interest. Interest on investment 1750, which means received or not received? Received. So by, sorry, this is taking your concentration. $1750. This one point have you noted here? When is the investment made? This is my financial year. Investment is made on 1st September. Financial year is ending on? How many months I've invested? September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, 7 months. So technically, if I have to see 30,000 amount invested into 10 by 100 into 7 by 12, how much is it? Please calculate. 3,000 into 7 by 12 is how much? Calculate. Don't think. If you see there, no answer you'll get. How much? You're getting same 1750. It is a coincidence that the amount of interest what is earned has been received. In future, you'll come across cases in income and expenditure account where they will mention that the amount that is received is only 1,000. You have earned interest of 1750, but received is only 1,000. So in your receipts and payment account, what will record? 1,000 or 750? 1,750. 1,000 or 1,750. I'm telling that for instance, let's say instead of 1,750, had they given 1,000 rupees. Interest earned is 1750. Received is 1,000. So in receipts and payment account, will I record 1750 or 1,000? Because I'm bothered only about money received. So what will I do with the remaining 750? I'll discuss that when I do income and expenditure. There is a treatment for that also. That's why purposely I'm drawing your attention here. Whenever you come to these kind of questions in income and expenditure account, your red light should be on. Right? Okay. So here, no problem. Just keep going with it. Entrance fee is 4,000. Receipt of payment. Fee is no. Receipt. So 2 entrance fee. 2 entrance fee. How much? 4,000. Very good. Next. Closing balance of cash in hand is given. Okay. So by balance carried down, cash in hand, CIH, I will write because I have the privilege. You write full form. 25,600. Now I need to find out whether the remaining bank balance is debit balance or credit balance. Please do the total, guys. If debit side is more than credit side, then you get a debit balance of bank. But if your credit side is more, payment side is more, and receipt side is less, you might get a credit balance of bank. So please check and tell me what are you getting. Which side total is more? Which side total is more? Debit side total is more. What is the total? 2,93,550. So these were the total amount which I had throughout the year, and then I spent all this money. After spending all that money, I have some amount. In that 25,600 is cash in hand, and balance will be cash at bank. So what is that cash at bank? 1,23,950. If I total 1,05,550. Any difficulty in this piece? Third one, can we do it here in the classwork? I'll not do it. With whatever you understand, I want you to do it right away. Right? I'll just give 2 minutes of time, guys. All those are still doing this question, please complete it, and then we'll head towards third question. Am I going too fast? Is this pace normal? Too slow, is it? Is it too slow? Fine, no? Okay, great. So guys, all those who have done with your illustration 2, please head towards illustration 3 and do it. I'll show the question here. Guys, all those who have still not purchased the book, please purchase the book. Very, very important. Without this book, we cannot work it out. So please get the book at the earliest. Guys, no talking. Recording is going on. So please, no talking. Mansi Rakshita. The screen clear to all of you? Should I make it a little bit big? Adi, is it clear from you? From that behind? Yes, this could be a 6-mark question. So how much minutes you will take to complete this question normally? How much minutes? So every question we have to calculate now how many minutes you can spend maximum. How do you decide 10 minutes? So basically, your paper is for how many marks? 80 marks. How many minutes are that to write? 3 hours is 180 minutes. So 180 minutes divided by 80 marks. How much will you get? 2.25. For every 1 mark, you will get 2.25 minutes. So 6 mark into 2.25 minutes is how much? 6 2s are 12. 13.5, roughly around 14 minutes max. Too much actually. If this is a 4-mark question, then it is maximum 10 minutes. So at any particular question, if you're struggling, if you're not able to complete within that time frame, then it is a high time you skip that question and move towards the next question. Why? Because if you are into that question for too long a period of time, in board exams I'm talking, you might, what happened? You'll not be able to complete paper, that is there, but the extra time what you take, no, because of it will start panicking. And the next question, what you know, you might forget because of that tension. So like this, I'll be giving a lot of examination tips, guys. We have one complete year. I'll be sharing a lot of them, right? So approximately you can give 14 minutes max for this question. Guys, any doubts in this question? Any particular point which is not clear? Yes, boss. Charity show expense. So basically this NPOs organize some charity related show. They organize a show which is for a charity purpose, And for organizing that show, there is some expenditure that is done. So it's a outflow of money, so payment. If you see on the other side, there is a proceeds from charity show. Proceeds means money coming in. So from charity show, the money that is coming in will be recorded on the receipt side. Sale of old newspaper. When I sell the newspaper, what will happen? Money comes in. So receipt. So apart from that, anything new is there in this? The bank balance also, what you got is a debit balance. So again, no problem. Simply easy. In NPO, this part alone is easy. Which means when I start the income expenditure in the balance sheet part, that's where the tricky part will start. But we'll understand the concept the way today we understood in minute details, right? The same way we'll assess all the concepts. And I assure you 100% that when the NPO is completed, you will not even feel the pinch of the injection. I would have given you the injection, but you would not have even felt that. That much I can assure you. Saraswat. Yes, Srikanth. Nodding it, huh?
Sir, done, sir.
Done? Online students done?
Yes, sir.
So with this, we'll come to end of today's session, guys. I'll meet you all on Friday from 5:30 to 8:30. Until then, bye-bye. See you. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.